and Gio.
BT and Sal.
Kevin and Tiki.
Keith McPherson, your nighttime host on The Fan.
On the fan.
On the fan.
On the fan.
It's WFAN Daily, hosted by Pete Hoffman.
Well, good evening on this late night edition, early morning edition of WFAN Daily. As both the Mets and the Yankees lose, still in the playoffs for now, but it's the return of Gleyber Torres in New York to Yankee Stadium, and it just reminds you that some things are not as bad when you have time away from them. And I know for a fact that many Yankee fans were extremely satisfied with Gleyber Torres leaving the New York Yankees. It was a necessity. It had to happen. He was a scapegoat for so many problems. Gleyber Torres was the reason why the Yankee franchise was kind of lackadaisical and wasn't as, clean and on defensively as they wanted this team to be. But let's be honest, nothing has changed since Gleyber Torres has left. The defense is still as bad as ever. You are missing Gleyber Torres' bat in the lineup, no matter what you think. That is what's happening right now. And this Yankee team is not as great as it could have been if Gleyber Torres was there. And that's the God's honest truth. No matter what you want to say, Gleyber Torres was always an asset. No matter how many times it looked like he wasn't rushing a throw or rushing a play down the line, Gleyber Torres was better being on the Yankees than being off the Yankees. Same way as Giancarlo Stanton's better being on the Yankees than being off the Yankees. Now, that's not to be said about everybody, but that's to be said about Gleyber Torres. And now his return to Yankee Stadium, he had a tribute video. It was nice to see, and I'm happy that he got it. I'm happy that he got an applause. I'm happy that he took time out and took a second to take it all in. And I'm happy he's successful in Detroit because let's be honest with you, it's not like he was going to be this star-studded Hall of Fame player, but the Yankee fans and a lot of people around here in New York treated him like he was a second citizen, like he didn't deserve to be on this roster, that he was a waste of time, and they couldn't wait to get rid of him. And he was never that type of guy. Meanwhile, just to flip it real quick, Anthony Volpe is sitting at shortstop now for his third season, who is a shell of himself defensively. He continues to make errors. He made another unfortunate play today, and his offense is back down to what it always is. He is who he is. He's got some pop on the bat, Anthony Volpe. He can hit 20 home runs. He's got some speed to him. He can steal stolen bases and stuff like that, but he is not an average hitter, that's for sure. And his OPS is not very high, and it is who he is. End of story. 3 years offensively, he's who he is. You want him to get better, of course, but he hasn't changed at all. Whether it's his approach, whether it's the Yankees' approach, it has not changed. Gleyber Torres, on the other hand, had that season 38 home runs where everyone expected him to be that type of guy, and he couldn't recreate that. But it wasn't like he never shined. It wasn't like he never had good seasons for the Yankees. He's batting .260 right now. He's batting .260. He's got 15 home runs. Okay, it's not great. He finished the season last year with 15 home runs. He batted .257 last year. His OPS was 709. This year, 758. But 2023 was 800 with 25 home runs. In 2022, it was 24 home runs. OPS 761, batted .257. Like, he's honestly, he's a second baseman's Pete Alonso. Not the perfect glove that you want. Not as much power as a lot of people desire, but still can give you 20 to 20 plus home runs in the season. He did that 4 times. And his average, you want him to hit for more, but like in this day and age, if you're hitting 250 or above, you're doing great. And he's only had one season where he batted under 250. To be honest, he only had one season where he batted under 257. It was 243, and it was the 2020 season, which no one counts. So you look at Gleyber Torres overall, and I question why people didn't like him as much. Those statistics, his stats, his stat line, and then this is just all just kind of like briefly looking over. I'm just like looking overall, never really had a bad season, but he was needed to be moved upon, move away from him. He's not good enough. He's not good in this locker room. Well, I got to be honest. I think they miss him. I think they miss Gleyber Torres. He was a cool, casual player. Yeah, maybe frustrated you here and there, but which player doesn't frustrate you? Which player on the Yankees right now doesn't make you scratch your head and going, oh my God, what was that about? I mean, Ryan McMahon today had a ball that should have been easily played and thrown somebody out at first base. And he just, whether it was a delay or double clutch or whatever it was, just didn't get there in time. So there's head-scratching players all over the place. Gleyber Torres deserved the ovation. Good for him. His return wasn't amazing, wasn't this crazy return, but he did have a double. He had 2 walks, scored a run, got an RBI, didn't strike out at all. Hey, good day for him, and they won. And in a unbelievable inning, in the what was it? It was the top of the 7th. Now let's take this through. It is a 2-2 ball game. Will Warren pitched a great game. Will Warren gave up a home run to Parker Meadow. And that was his only blemish. 2 hits, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. I mean, again, if it wasn't for that home run he gave up, I mean, he was near perfect. Shutout ball. He was great. And then Fernando Cruz comes in. And he could not get an out. He went in this 7th inning, in a miraculous form. It's almost unbelievable to even think about this. Riley Green double. Spencer Torkelson walks, so first and second. Then Wenceel Perez walks. So bases are loaded off of a base hit. Sorry, double. That ground rule double, by the way. Could have been a triple, but either way, ground rule double down the line by Riley Green. Then walk, and then Parker Meadows, a single, makes it 3-2. Okay. Bases loaded. There's still opportunity to get out of this inning without too much damage. Maybe get a double play, give up another run. All right, it's a tight ball game, but give yourself something. Give yourself some wiggle room here. He goes and walks Dylan Dingler. So now it's 4-2. He's had 5 consecutive people get on base, 3 of which by walk, only 2 hits, and they pull the plug. Couldn't get anybody out. 5 batters, could not get a single batter out. Mark Leiter comes in and is even more impressive. Trey Sweeney, base hit, single, 5-2. Now we got 6 in a row. Okay. 6 plate appearances in a row, 6 men on base. Colt Keith, hit by pitch. It looked like he just went to the backstop, but no, it hit him. So there's somebody else. 7. Is it 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That was 8 batters in a row get on base. Gleyber Torres walks. So now we have 9 guys on base. 3 hits. 3 hits. That's it. 1 hit by pitch. 5 walks. That is outrageous. And then you got the next pitch that Gleyber Torres Or sorry, who ends up scoring? Who ends up? I feel like that was still bases loaded. Did 2 runs get in? Either way, there was a wild pitch, and I believe it scored a run. Maybe, Trey Sweeney. There we go. Trey Sweeney scored. I'm trying to figure out the myth. Trey Sweeney scored on the next pitch. That was a wild pitch. And then Kerry Carpenter triples in the next 2 runs, and it is now 10-2. And you not only had, 5 walks, hits Batman, you hit a batter, and 4 hits in a span of, is that 10 batters? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 batters. That is unbelievable. And then Kerry Carpenter would eventually score because Wenzel Perez hit a fielder's choice. That was 9 up, 9 on. 8-run score with no outs. 8 runs. It's unbelievable. That is one of the worst innings ever pitched of all time. You had 3 pitchers go that inning. You had 3 pitchers. Fernando Cruz. Is that what this is? Fernando? Yeah, Fernando Cruz. No outs, 2 hits, 3 walks, 5 runs. Mark Leiter Jr. 2 hits, 1 walk plus the hit by pitch, 4 runs. 9 runs between those 2. Job well done. Now listen, Fernando Cruz up until that point was pitching well since his return. He's a very fiery guy. He has a lot of good stuff, but not today. That's for sure. And then the Yankees just, at that point in time, it was a 2-2 game, and then it turns 11-2 within a blink of an eye. And that's it. And the Yankees lose to a very beatable Detroit Tigers team. I mean, that's one thing. That's the biggest disappointment, is that, to me, the Yankees could have easily beat the Detroit Tigers. I mean, Casey Mize was pitching well. Not going to take it away from him. He had a good game. He had 8 strikeouts in 6 innings, 2 earned runs. But Chris Paddock came in, and Paddock has not been a fantastic pitcher. But by the time he comes in, he's a long relief, 3 pitches, 3 innings, excuse me, and he 4 Ks, no hits. And between the two, they only give up those 2 runs early in the game, off of a Aaron Judge solo home run and a Cody Bellinger home run. And that's the biggest bugaboo by the Yankees, is that when they do face good pitching, they're basically looking for moonshots. And that works against the bad pitchers, but not against the good pitchers. It happens every year. It's the same thing. But how much ground did the Yankees lose? They're still in that top position of the wild card. They are, because Toronto did lose, if I'm correct. They're still 3 games out of behind Toronto. So that would have been a big step for the Yankees, because with that loss by Toronto, the Yankees could have come back and gained the game and try to win the division. Because right now, again, everyone wants to win the division. The division is the first step. That's what everyone wants. If you can't get to the division, at least get in the playoffs. And, actually, no. The Blue Jays came back and won. I'm sorry. I was like, that didn't seem right. They were losing 3-1 the whole game. And then in the 9th inning, the Blue Jays came back. Wow. Let's see how that happened. How did they come back in the 9th inning? And Isaiah Kiner-Falefa 2-run single tied the game with the last. So it's 3-1. Brian Abreu comes in because they don't have their all-star closer in Josh Hader right now. He's still hurt. Alejandro Kirk, guess what? He walks. Funny. They run for Kirk with Heineman. Barger strikes out. Clement singles. So now you got 2 on. Davis Schneider walks. So it's bases loaded. And Kiner-Falefa comes up. And with 1 out in the 9th, he ties up the game. Springer strikes out, and then Miles Straw flies out. But then in the extra innings, you get Miles Straw's on second, so it's perfect for them. Fast guy, Vlad Guerrero single, Straw goes to third. Varsho strikes out, and then Heineman reaches on a fielder's choice. So I guess they try to go home with it and didn't work. So, wow. Blue Jays, big comeback for them. So they're basically, they now did what they're supposed to do. They're winning games, separating themselves from the Yankees. I mean, that's incredible. Good job by the Astros, I guess. If you're not a Yankee fan, bad job by the Astros. But the Yankees right now are sitting still in that top wild card spot, which is good, but it's not good enough. Still want that division. And let's see. How did the Red Sox do? They are, I'm sorry, I'm doing this on the fly. Let's see. Let's see what's going on. Who else? So right now, games live right now, Cincinnati and San Diego. So we got to them a little bit later because we do want to talk about the Mets. Boston's beating the A's 5-0. So they're going to gain the game, or they're going to tie the Yankees with that top spot now. Now, who has the edge? I think it's the Red Sox that have the edge. So technically, the Red Sox will take over. Yankees will be pushed down to that second wild card spot. That's not good. That's not good. That's not what you want. All right, let's get to the Mets real quick because they are not making the playoffs. I've decided that, or I figured that out yesterday on the WFAN Daily. We had clarification. We had like a Zen-like moment where we were all calm, not calm because I was bugging out that they lost 1-0 to the Phillies. But then all of a sudden, I just felt it like it was like a moment of clarity, like, wow, the Mets are not making the playoffs this year. This is terrible. And they go on to lose to the Phillies again, which was expected. And there's 2 games left in Philadelphia. I'm not expecting the Mets to pick up a game in Philadelphia. I expect them to finish the series. The Giants win out the next couple games and be tied before they go to before they get home to play Jacob deGrom on Friday. So, yeah, I don't expect the Mets to be doing very well right now. I expect them to be in the final wild card spot, but be tied with the Giants at that point in time. And the Giants have to, with the Mets beating them in the regular season, they have the edge. So the Mets, technically, if they tie, Mets take that spot. But let's get there first, right? Let's try to get there. All right, so Mets are in Philly. Sean Manaea pitches batting practice basically the first 2 innings. Of course, who else is he going to give up big hits to? But Nick Castellanos gets a double, makes it 2-0. Then in the 3rd inning, Otto Kemp with a solo shot, followed by Harrison Bader with the home run. 4-0 Phillies after the 2nd inning. And the way that Suarez was just mowing down the Mets in the first couple innings, there was no feel that the Mets were ever going to come back and win this game. Soto, Alonso, strikeout. You got Nimmo, Marte, strikeout. So 4 strikeouts in 2 innings. And the Phillies are 4-0. They're not coming back. And I was right, unfortunately. Vientos hits a solo home run at some point in time, makes it 4-1. That's good. But it's not good enough. And again, that wasn't even until Suarez was out of the game. That was off of David Robertson. So it's late in the game. It's 7th inning, and he hits a solo home run. And then the next inning, obviously, once you have Hagenman coming in there trying to just get out of this game, just get the Mets to the next game. And he gives Stott a single, Harrison Bader another base hit, and then Kyle Schwarber 3-run home run. 7-1. And basically at that point in time, game's out of hand. But Soto in the top of the 8th gets a RBI single, makes it 7-2, gets his 30th stolen base of the season a little bit later on, which is great. Congratulations, 30-30. And then in the bottom of the 8th, still the Mets can't get a clean inning. Stott single, scores Sosa. Harrison Bader, another big-time base hit, scores a run, makes it 9-2. Harrison Bader finished the day 3 for 5. Two RBIs, 2 runs scored, again, 1 home run. He did strike out twice. But in the past 2 days, he has gone 6 for 9. 6 for 9. He loves beating up on the Mets. I think his batting average right now against the Mets is like 590 or something like that. It's crazy. When he played them in August at Citi Field, he went 4 for 10 with the big home run off of Helsley. That was crazy. I remember that one. And then he played them earlier in the season with Minnesota. Where is those games? Because I remember one of them was very disturbing. Oh, yeah. And those he played April 16th and April 15th in Minnesota. My God. 5 for 7. 5 for 7. Like, why does he hate us so much? Why does he hate the Mets? What did they ever do to them? Very disappointing. Why couldn't he be on the Mets? How about that? Cedric Mullins? We've talked about that too many times. We'll get to it later. But again, disappointing loss again. And now the Mets are at a point where they are 2 games. It's going to be 2 games tomorrow because the Giants, not over yet, but let's do a little prediction city here, okay? It's 5-3. So Arizona has come back. Top 8th. There's 2 innings left. It's Lucchesi on the mound, Perdomo up. So there's at least 6 outs left to go for Arizona. Can they score 2 runs? Can they come back and win this game? Look what happened with Toronto. They did it. Maybe Arizona could do it. They're still trying to fight for a playoff spot potentially, but we're getting slim pickings here. It's getting tight, okay? Can Arizona come back? If not, and the Giants hold on to win, the lead is cut to 2 for the Mets in that final wild card spot. You have San Diego and Cincinnati still tied at 2 going into the top of the 9th. So over there, San Diego can continue to push up and get further away from the Mets and that final wild card spot, or they could drop a little bit closer. And the Reds are then in the mix again, too. There's a lot of teams on both sides, AL, NL, fighting for final playoff spots. It actually is pretty crazy that so many teams are this close. I guess that's the good part about adding more teams to the wild card. But on the other hand, too, I just want to make the playoffs. That's all I care about. Cubs 161. Not like that has anything to do with it, but they're the top seed of the wild card at the moment. So I guess there goes that as well. So you're not going to get the top wild card seed. You're not going to win the division. Can you just make the playoffs? Nationals won Marlins. It doesn't make a difference about them. But those are the teams that we're eyeing right now is Arizona, San Francisco, Cincinnati, San Diego. St. Louis is losing to Seattle 5-3. That might be the end of St. Louis. They weren't on the team that was kind of fighting for, but kind of not. But it is amazing how dead the Mets are right now. They just are lifeless. They don't have anything. They don't have any rallies left to them. I mean, today, what are we going to sit there and complain about? Suarez just embarrassed them all again for another time that the Mets just are not able to hit a starting pitcher. And it's weird because it's not like all season long they've been bad against good starting pitching. No, they've had some moments where they can beat the best pitchers in baseball. Right now, they are just in a downright rut. And this is what I've said on BT and Sal earlier today, and this is what I said on the Rico Bronya podcast not too long ago. They are at the point in the season with 17 games to go. I don't believe they're going to make the playoffs because they've been so bad for so long. They've been the worst team in baseball for like the last 82, 83 games. They have been so bad for so long. It's not like last year where they looked like they were unstoppable. After they got rid of those first 2 months of the season, they won every big game possible. They haven't won a big game this season. Whether there was any big games for them to win or big series, like the Phillies series they swept, that was big, but that's about it. And you could say, oh, well, but they did that. Don't ignore it. No, but like, go through any other time. They needed to beat the Cincinnati Reds this past weekend. They didn't do that. They had other big series over the past month that they needed to win, and they couldn't do it. They've been in a rut. Why do I expect in the last 17 games that the Mets are going to miraculously have fight in them? Are they going to win the next 2 games versus the Phillies? No. So that's a sweep. There's zero fight there. The Rangers, they're fighting for a playoff spot too. I think the Rangers have been in a fight for a while and have fought to get back into this playoff race. I think they know the definition of a fight and what it takes to go out there and win games. The Mets right now don't know how it is to fight back. They are 0-61 now. 0-61. Being down going into the ninth inning. Okay? That's all you need to know. They don't know how to fight back because they aren't even allowed to. That's kind of like misguided because it's making it sound like, oh, they can't come back and win. Well, when you're down by 10 runs in the first 2 or 3 innings of a game, yeah, how are you going to come back? You can fight back as much as you want. It's almost impossible. There are too many gut-wrenching plays or moments, whether the pitching becomes awful, whether it's the bullpen blows a game, whether the defense makes a bad play, the offense can't come back, sure, but it's a lot of the pitching problems that are to start with this is because the pitching just can't hold leads anymore, and they give up the game huge in early spots, and it's basically the game's over. So 0 for 61, going into the ninth inning doesn't mean much to me because how are they, losing after the sixth inning? Tell me that. How are they after losing after the fourth inning? I'm sure they're not good either. I'm sure it's almost the same stat because they just don't come back because these games are out of hand so quick. And that's the disturbing part about the Mets season this year. So I don't feel comfortable at all that in the next 17 games, how many games are they need to win? At least 10, right? At least 10 they need to win. I don't think they could do that. 10 wins will get them to 86 wins. I don't think they'll get there. That's what they got last year, 86 wins. I don't think they're going to get there. And who are they beating? We could say, well, they have the Nationals and the Marlins on the schedule, but the Nationals beat them last time, 2 of 3. The Marlins, and I always say this, this is the flashback to 2007, 2008. Those two teams got embarrassed by the Marlins the last series of the season, the last game of the season. All they needed to do is win one game, and they couldn't do it. Now, it would be amazing. Some way amazing. I don't want to do this scenario, but it would be amazing if the Mets got to that series with the Marlins and they needed to, whether it was take 2 of 3 or sweep, or whatever the case is, and they take the games necessary, but it's a must win on Sunday, and the Mets win on that Sunday and make it to the playoffs. Would that be like, oh, things maybe have changed? We got revenge on the Marlins from all those years ago. Would that feel good? Yeah, because listen, making the playoffs just makes me feel good anyway. That's all I want. But for that to happen, or that scenario to happen, not what I want. I'm done clinching the playoffs at game 161 or 162. You play 162 games. Why does it have to come down to the last game for you to clinch and make the playoffs? Or the second to last game? Why? Why not go out and win sooner? Make it easier for yourself. It's like they don't want to make things easy. It's true. All right, let's see. Last check before we turn this bad boy off. All right. So, end of the top of the 8th. So we're going to the mid-8th, and the Giants are up 5-3. So Arizona's down to the last 3 outs. They got to score 2 runs to tie, 3 to win, and then hold off the Giants. That's not going to happen. All right. Good, bad news. I don't know. You tell me which is better. San Diego is down 4-2. In that scenario, that makes you feel better because they're dropping a game as well. So now if they could continue to lose and the Mets find a way to win a couple of games, maybe the Mets and the Padres are all fighting for the second and third spot with the Giants, with the Reds, with the Diamondbacks. But also, like I said, with the Padres losing, the Reds now shift up a game too, because right now the Reds are up 4-2. It's the top of the 9th. The Reds have 1 more out to go this inning, and then San Diego is up. So we're doing a lot of scoreboard watching right now. This is really what's going on these late nights on WFAN Daily. We're going to, find out who's making the playoffs these late nights, and it's going to be very disturbing. And Boston's still up 5-0 in the bottom of the 7th now. So Yankees are going to drop a game in that wild card. Red Sox are taking over that first spot. So that's going to be fun tomorrow morning. For anybody that thinks, and I still think that the Yankees are much more comfortable in the playoffs. Again, they're 4 games up over that last spot. Seattle, Texas is 1 game out of the playoffs right now. It's obviously much more comfortable for the Yankees, but even them, with only 17 games left, or what is it? Is it 18 for them or 17? 18, 80 and 64. So they have 18 games left. Even that, it's still 18 games. It's not a lot, but it's enough to get screwed up. It's enough. If you don't win enough and other teams win more, you're screwed. It's a +4 right there. It's not impossible, because we all have seen the Mets, the division, 7-17. We all know that. That's not good. That's not what you want. All right, on that note, we will end this bad boy for now. Back tomorrow with more of WFN Daily and more clarity on these playoff positions and what we're fighting for. And the Mets need to, it's shut up time now. It's make it or break it. The Mets need to go out there and they need to find a way to freaking win games. End of story. You can't, you have to do it yourself. You can't rely on other teams to lose. You got to go out there and win. That's it. Keep on winning. Get momentum going into the end of the season. If you're going to make the playoffs, get momentum. That's why they did so good last year in the playoffs, is because they had that momentum going in for that last, since June 1st or whatever it was last year. They were basically in a playoff race the rest of the season. They had to win. And that's why they did so well. All right, listen, call it a night. We'll do this tomorrow. Thank you for listening. At Hoff WFAN on social media. I'll see you guys tomorrow. You can always listen, subscribe, subscribe, all that stuff on the Odyssey app. You can go to YouTube or wherever you get your podcast. It's everywhere. Odyssey app is everywhere. WFAN is everywhere. I'm trying to be everywhere at Hoff WFAN. But thank you guys again for listening and checking out WFAN Daily with Pete Hoffman. See you guys tomorrow. Peace.